Those that love the truth in this world today will ask the right questions and share the truth with others that are believing the lies as we move forward and prove all things. Hello, this is John, and I had to make a video on this because this is just to confirm that they have shot down a high-altitude object, they are calling it, off the northern coast of Alaska. And this came across at 1 p.m. earlier today on February 10th, 2023, so we know the date. But this object was the size of a car, and it was high altitude. The object that transversed and went across America, right down through the middle, all the way off the eastern coast, and then was shot down out after it got all its surveillance in, was the size of 3 school buses, they said. And they knew about that way before it got to the northern coast of Alaska, to where it went through Alaska, then down through the United States, from Washington all the way down to the Carolinas and then out to sea. They knew about that. So what I will do tomorrow is I'm going to put together a little bit longer video, because the World Economic Forum has been talking about China doing massive cyber attacks, or cyber pandemic, they're calling it, going across the world. And we know, if you look at some news stories, that Russia, China, and Iraq have been collaborating. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the craziness goes on and on and on. And the World Economic Forum, back in 2019, we're talking about a global viral pandemic. And we all know what happened in 2020. And this year, 2023, they're talking about a global cyber attack pandemic, where the electrical grids are shut down around the world. But let's get into the story right here that transpired today on February 10th, 2023 at 1 p.m.
First of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, within U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial water. On February 9, North American Aerospace Defense Command detected an object on ground radar and further investigated and identified the object using fighter aircraft. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. U.S. Northern Command is beginning recovery operations now. U.S. Northern Command's Alaska Command coordinated the operation with assistance from the Alaska Air National Guard, Federal Aviation Administration, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4. Separately, U.S. Northern Command continues their recovery operations in support of the recent takedown of the Chinese high-altitude surveillance balloon. Recovery teams have mapped the debris field and are in the process of searching for and identifying debris on the ocean floor. Debris that's been recovered so far is being loaded onto vessels, taken ashore, cataloged, and then moved onwards to labs for subsequent analysis. And while I won't go into specifics due to classification reasons, I can say that we have located a significant amount of debris so far that will prove helpful to our further understanding of this balloon and its surveillance capabilities. Of note, due to less than favorable sea states right now, teams will continue to conduct underwater survey and recovery as conditions permit. The department wants to thank our interagency partners from the U.S. Coast Guard, the FBI, and state and local authorities for their continuing assistance and partnership.
Really quick, we're going to go to YouTube and just search, and we're going to use the filter system here, which we're going to look for the ones in the past year, okay, filters, and we got China, U.S. cyber attacks. News stories on YouTube that were put up. Here's the first one that comes up. China breathes fire after U.S. cyber attacks expose Chinese data. Security endangered. Okay, so, and you scroll down, and a lot of the stories are like that. But if you go deeper into it, you find out that China is the USA's #1 cyber attacker. China attacks United States cyberly more frequently than Russia. Also, we know that the Pentagon knew about this first high-altitude balloon that came all the way across the United States. They knew about it when it was out in the Bering Sea off the east coast of Alaska. And what they could have done, it's a balloon. It's got hydrogen or helium in it. There's two ways to bring down a balloon. You put a rip in it, you bring it down, because this payload that was the size of 2 or 3 school buses underneath it, we should have captured that to find out exactly what the Chinese were up to. Okay? You tear the balloon. You let the helium or hydrogen out. It will slowly descend. You get it down to a low enough level to where you can capture it and seize it and bring it safely to the ground using what we call cargo helicopters. You could also use a Harrier jet, which can hover at a certain altitude. There's another way to bring one down. You put a tether underneath it, and you add weight to the 100, 200-foot tether below the balloon, and that weight will cause the hydrogen and helium in the balloon not being capable of supporting a certain amount of weight. And again, we're going to go into this a little more detailed in the future, but I just want to let you know what they're talking about at the World Economic Forum this year. So please watch the last couple minutes of this video. I hope you will share it. I hope you will comment or subscribe. Thank you very much for watching to this point. Now I'll take you to the Davos World Economic Forums, and you can hear what they are speaking much about this year.
The young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. So that we penetrate the cabinets.
The change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? To take the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset. So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.